Hey guys, Munchies here, and today we are going to be going over the 3D Brawler in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is a minigame in the Gold Saucer. It's been kind of brought to my attention that it's pretty unintuitive in terms of their attack animations, and even using the trick where you pause before every one of them, people are still having trouble differentiating. So I'm going to do my best in this video to kind of go over it. So every enemy that you fight is going to have a move set until you get to Sephiroth, which he has all 6. But as you can see, when you pick someone like Shiva, anything that comes from the right-hand side, it's only going to be one direction to dodge. So it's just going to be the right analog to the right. And anything that comes from the left, you have to pay attention to how she is attacking, like how her attack animations look. So we'll kind of get into that in a second here. And what I like to do is, they name the words like straight, hook, and upper, but those are just terrible because if you ask me, uppercut is just there to confuse you because it's coming from the bottom, so you want to hit down. So these names are terrible. I think they intentionally did it to kind of confuse you. So when you're telling your mind, oh, uppercut, you hit down on the analog instead of up, right? So think of like the attack where you have to, let's take straight, right? You have to hit up on the analog. Just think of it as an overhead, and then straight should be in the middle. So that's just straight to the left or to the right. And then usually an underhanded attack, which is the uppercut, you hit down on the stick. So that's kind of how I differentiate between these 3 incoming directions, right? Because the way they name it is just terrible. So I'm going to use Dio as an example, and I'm going to slow this down to an absurdly slow pace so you can see exactly what I'm talking about and when I'm talking about it. So first thing on the list is when they do an attack, they have a telegraph. So besides the underhanded ones, you have to look at the hand, the position of the hand. So the first thing you need to take into account is which direction it is coming from. So when they do an attack, their ATB gauge will fill up as so. And if they do an attack, as you can see, he's doing an attack from your left. So the left, it's going to be a straight across. So it's going to be a horizontal. It's not the move straight, right? It's not the attack that the game calls a straight. It's the one where you have to push left or right, depending on which side on the analog stick. So the indicator for this, and this is shared between, I actually went to go check, between the opponents, is the hand is going to be facing in that direction, right? So as you can see, the arrow, my arrow that I have drawn, is pointing in the direction that you need to hit the analog stick, which is the same as the direction of their hand. And the fact that I even need to over-explain this just goes to show they did this on purpose. Okay, they made it very hard to see. Not Dio. Dio is probably one of the easier ones, but as far as the ones after Dio, they make it very hard to see. So whichever direction that their hand is facing on that side, that's the side that you're going to have to hit the analog stick. So as you can see, it's facing left. It's coming from the left, so I'm going to hit left on the analog. Now, with the exception of Sephiroth, all of the opponents that you fight have an indicator of their weak side when you exhaust them, or that their guard is down. So the one thing that shows when their guard is down, their arm is going to drop on that section. So with the exception of Sephiroth, Sephiroth is always L2, I believe, but for most opponents, they'll have a exhaust animation as so, where they glow blue. And this one's going to be R2 because it's on the right side. So you're going to R2 and you're going to hit straight through their guard that's dropped, and you will build your limit meter. Now, as far as the uppercuts go, this is the one that's a little different. So the uppercuts are the underhanded attacks, where the one where you have to hit down on the analog stick on the respective sides. Now, as for the underhanded strikes, which is the uppercuts, what helped a lot for me is to actually look at their body language. They squat and they kind of crouch down. And some of them do have their hands pointed down, but for the most part, this is the one that's kind of different from the other two. In my opinion, it's the easier one because it has the biggest movement of their body as a whole, so it's a bigger thing to look at. So as you can see, there's going to be a strike from the right-hand side. His hand is facing straight to the right. That is what you hit on the right analog, and you will dodge. And once again, I'll show this again for the squats. This is a squat down low, so you're going to hit down because he's squatting down, right? So you have to find out which side it's coming from, and that's the analog stick that you are going to hit the direction down on. So as for the up direction, his hand is going to be facing up. So this goes for the other opponents as well. As you can see here, his hand is facing up, so you know you're going to have to hit up on the analog stick. I'll leave this little quick telegraph chart up here, so if their hand is facing up, that is the direction that you need to hit. So same thing for the left and right, the straights left and right. The hands will be pointed straight out left and right. The down will be either they'll heavily squat or some of them will even have their hands pointed down. And when they're exhausted, you want to strike the side with the arm that they have down. And just as an example here, Shiva is about to get tired here. So when she's tired, she'll glow blue, right side's open. As you can see, the arm's down, you hit it. And if you do the input a little too slow, what'll end up happening is you'll block it instead. I actually tried to get to block, and it's kind of hard to purposely block. I ended up just getting hit a bunch of times, and it just didn't work out very well. But do know if you do get a block off, it's because you put the command in a little too slow. And you can only put in one command. So, for example, if it's a overhead and you push the wrong direction on the joystick, there's no correcting it. Once you put that input in, that's it. But yeah, hopefully this video kind of helps simplify the minigame a little more. I know it's kind of vague still, in my opinion, but yeah, hopefully with the pause trick, you guys can see the attack telegraphs and pick up the fights a lot easier. Anywho, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, or if you didn't cover anything, or if you have a better way of telling how their telegraphs work, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm sure myself and others would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.